thank you for joining us. This is Common Ground Radio on the Air Nation Radio Network. We are a Days of Our Lives discussion show where we dish on all the latest in Salem, USA. I am your host, Brandon, and as always, on the line with us, we have my co-host, Misty.
Good afternoon, guys.
So, this week, we're doing things a little different than what we normally do. We are still going to do our review and our spoilers for next week, but it's going to be very quick. We hope to keep this to 15 minutes at the max, because tonight we want to focus on the breaking news that happened over the weekend. In case you happen to not see it, Chandler Massey has announced that he is leaving Days for sure. It's an immediate exit from Days, and they have already cast a new will. So we want to hear from all the Days fans, and especially you Wilson fans, what you think about this. We're going to start taking calls around 7:15, and we want to hear what you think about this. Yeah, don't be afraid. We don't bite. At least I don't. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for Misty.
I don't bite either. If I do, it's not too hard.
Good one. Also, if anyone anyone that is listening went to the Chicago or Atlanta Days event this weekend with Jen, Blake, Chandler, and Casey, please call us and share your experience if you'd like. So, with that being said, let me get into a little quick review of last week as a whole to get you ready for what we're going to talk about. So, last week on Days, Kristen's pregnancy test is discovered by an unexpected person. Two Salemites team up to bring down one of the town's villains. Can they do it? The opening of Sonny and Chat's new club doesn't go as smoothly as planned, and JJ is shocked at what he witnesses. Whew. Busy week in Salem. So, are you ready, Misty?
Yes.
Okay.
Party started.
That's the spirit. So, basically all I want to talk about is on Monday is the Kristen storyline. Nicole finds Kristen in the park with her pregnancy test, but Jennifer comes to save her and said that it's for her because Jennifer's working at a dinner in town for girls, something like that. And she said she bought it for a girl there. So Nicole, of course, she didn't believe Kristen and she didn't believe Jennifer. So she went to Daniel and told him about this. Well, of course, Nicole couldn't keep her mouth shut for long. So she went to Daniel with this, and Daniel, I'm not sure exactly what he said, but he didn't stay with Nicole very long because he ran right to Jennifer. And when he got to Jennifer's place, well, I'm not sure if he went to Jennifer's place or if it was in her office, but her office?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. So when he got there, he basically, as soon as he got in the door, he basically blurted it out. He said, "Are you pregnant?" And Jennifer kind of chuckled, so to speak. And she said, no, well, of course, I wouldn't think that she would be young enough, or old. Anyways, that same goes for Kristen. Anyways, I'm kind of dancing around what actually happened here. But Jennifer denied it, and of course, I mean, we all know she's not, so, I mean, that's that. But as Daniel and Jennifer were talking, they seemed to get closer. They did get close, very close. And then Jennifer thought that she heard JJ, so that closeness quickly disappeared. JJ was out there, but he had to leave for some reason. I believe he got a call, or Teresa came, and something along those lines. But anyways, back to Kristen. Kristen went home after she had the encounter with Nicole, and she had a second pregnancy test. I think Jennifer called her and asked her what to do with the test, and she just, Kristen told her to throw it away because Kristen had purchased a second test. So she went home and had it sitting on the table in the Demira living room. And lo and behold, here comes Sydney from somewhere in the house, and she picks it up and starts playing with it, or she has her doll, and her doll has her doll dancing on it or whatever. And Kristen kind of yells at her, but then she kind of feels bad after she yells at her. So not much really happened with that. Well, she took the test, and then she went to she was coming down the stairs as she was reading it, and then Eric knocked on the door. So I believe that is all that happened on Monday with the Jennifer and Kristen thing, scenes. I don't believe we found out the true if Kristen was pregnant until Tuesday. So I'm not going to get into what else was on Mondays because I don't have that much time, but that's all I want to talk about and what I want to focus on for Monday's show.
All right. So for Tuesday, it had Jennifer and Daniel, JJ, Teresa, Kayla, Cameron, Abby, Chad, Eric, Kristen, Victor, Marlena, and Sydney. I was just basically going to get into where Kristen hid the pregnancy test when Eric showed up at her house. When he left, she called Jennifer and said that she was not pregnant, but Brady can never know of the other lover. Marlena, of course, was in the foyer with Sydney listening and heard it all. And I'm not sure if they had talked about it on Monday's show or what, where Victor and Marlena said that they wanted to get enough information on Kristen to take her down or whatever. So she heard that, and she's going to use that as the information against Kristen to try to pull Brady away from him. So I'm interested to see what all they can find out, because all they know is she was on the phone with someone. They didn't know who she was talking to, and they don't know the man that she was supposedly sleeping with. But that was like the biggest part of Tuesday's show, was that information. And I think also the other thing big on Tuesday was Chad and Abigail talking about the new club. And then, of course, when JJ came back into the office and after talking to Teresa, that they really didn't. They talked about the photo shoot a little bit, and Daniel grabbed the envelope and, like, buzzed it out, dropped the envelope. Teresa got it and went to his apartment. So that was pretty interesting, where he pretty much told her that he would not see her under any circumstances. So
I have a feeling they'll get out at some point.
Yes, but there's a quick recap of Tuesday.
That was quick. That was like in 2 minutes, so props to you for going that fast. I need to pick up the pace now. So on Wednesday's show, we continue with Marlena and Victor scenes. But what I really want to focus on is the opening of the club. Starts out with Will and Sonny and Gabby at their place, and they are all dressed to go to the opening of the club. Gabby had just put Ariana down, and they were waiting on the babysitter to come, which was Kayla. I was kind of surprised by that. With everybody in town, Kayla was going to babysit.
I know. I was like, why not Caroline? She's always the Salem sitter.
The Salem sitter. I saw that hashtag that you used on Twitter. I thought that was awesome. Salem sitter.
Yes.
True. So Kayla called, and because she was already late, and she called and she said she had to cancel. So Will, Sonny, and Gabby started calling everybody that they knew in town. Maggie, they couldn't get a hold of her. Kate, they couldn't get a hold of her. Lucas was out of town. Well, Sammy's in jail, so that's not going to work out. So they couldn't find anybody. So Gabby said that she'd just stay and let Will go with Sonny because she knows that it's Sonny's big night and Will should be there. But, of course, Will says that now that he's sad, he can't do things like that. He should stay home. And then Gabby tells him, no, you need to go be with your boyfriend. Look at him. And then Sonny kind of put his head down, something like that, and I guess it kind of got Will convinced to go, kind of like a pouty face or whatever. So Will did finally decide to go to the club with Sonny, the opening, and Gabby stayed home. So they arrive at the club. There's so many people there. T is there with his new girlfriend, or no, lady friend. I don't know if they're actually together. Her name's Robin. The old one was, I think, Audrey or Aubrey or something. Anyways, T is there with
I can't remember
Robin.
what she said. Yeah.
So T's there with Robin. Chad is there with Abigail. I don't believe Cameron showed up until Thursdays. I'm not sure. So mainly it's the younger crowd. And then towards the end, Teresa shows up with Vargas because Teresa and Vargas, this is their date. I guess. And they're at the club.
Was Vargas dancing in Wednesdays, or was that Thursdays? It was hilarious.
I was sitting there watching that. I was like, who is that crazy old dude, like, spazzing in the middle of the club? And then it went back. I was like, oh, my God, that's Vargas.
It was awesome.
It's like, that's that guy. So, yeah, that happened on Wednesdays. Also on Wednesdays, Teresa and Vargas sat there and swapped their drugs at the table there. And Teresa went to take hers. And then I don't think she came back. I believe this was. I can't remember if she came back to see Vargas then, or if she left twice. But I think the first time she went to go powder her nose, and the second time she went to take the drugs. And Teresa actually met up with Will. Well, she went to talk to him. She wants to see if she could get a discount on the drink since her cousin's boyfriend does it. I think Will's her cousin, so she figures that there's a connection there. So did she get discounted drinks? We'll never said, so we'll never know. But anyways, Vargas is a little drunk, I think. Well, no, he is. He's drunk. And he can't find Teresa, so he walks outside and sees Teresa with this man. Well, that doesn't sit too well with Vargas, and he tells her to get off his woman or whatever. And he doesn't, so he takes matters into his own hands and punches him. And Chad was outside with Abigail at that time, and so he tried to stop it, but as soon as he tried to break it up, Vargas punched Chad I believe he punched him in the gut and then in the head, and that is how it ended on Wednesday, with Chad laying on the ground bleeding out his nose is what I think is where it was bleeding from. So the club opening didn't go as they planned, so to speak. I think Brady and Christian showed up on Wednesdays as well. Kristen in that big wacky hair. So Brady and Kristen also showed up then to support Chad. And I believe there was more people that came on Thursday's show. So yeah, that was all basically on Wednesdays, and then aside from Marlena and Victor scenes. So that's all I have for Wednesday.
Okay. Thursday, the main people that were on there was Vargas, Teresa, Sunny, T, Chad, Abby, Cameron, Will, Stefano and Cicely, Hope, Kate, Nick, Gabby, EJ, and Mr. Stoller, I believe was his name.
The accountant.
Yes. So I could not just pick one little thing, so I'm going to give a little snippet of what I liked about Thursday. So, yeah. So Vargas hits Chad. I'm so sad. That was like a little bit devastating knowing that he has the tumor. So Cameron sort of freaked out a little bit. Vargas gets arrested. Teresa runs, breaks into his apartment, and takes his money. And he tells Hope her name. So then Hope, of course, is like, oh, my gosh. Also on Thursday, Nick and Gabby have sex. Uh-oh. He's pretty happy about it, but she was a little confused about it. And I'm a little bit confused about it, too. Because I really like Nick, but I wanted to see where Gabby and Cameron could go. But
me too. I'd like to be a Cameron and Gabby pairing myself.
Yes, that would be kind of interesting. Because hopefully they're not going to kill Chad off, even though we know Casey's leaving. Hopefully they'll recast his character as well. But Kate also tells Stefano that she knows why he really sent Bernardi into Rafe's room. Called him a six son of a bee or something. I'm not really sure. And then EJ wanted that Mr. Stoller man to make monthly deposits into Timmy's savings account to make it look like that's where his, I guess if you want to call it, corrupt cop money was being deposited each month, and maybe extra little bonuses here and there into the account to make him look guilty. And let's see. I think that's all that I really enjoyed from Thursday. Yep. That's about the gist of Thursday. So the best part of Thursday was Vargas and yeah.
T on Thursday, was that when he was boasting about how he took out or held back Vargas? I believe he was all he was proud of himself of how he was able to contain Vargas like he did it all himself.
Yes.
He said that he told Sonny if he needed a bouncer, he's available. But
Yes.
I mean, there's 3 people that were there, so it's not all his doing.
Oh, and also with
really
the Thursday where Victor told him that the next day was his 1-year pro and he had to get out of the mansion.
Yep.
Yeah. That was kind of mean, Victor. But, I mean, it is Victor.
Well, it's Victor, so what do you expect?
I know. But poor Nick, I was like, aw. I have a soft spot for Nick. I do. I don't know why, but I do.
I don't know why either, but I'm not going to question it. So, we'll hurry up and Friday because we're running a little bit behind schedule, as I should have known. I talked way too much. So Friday we had Daniel and Jennifer. Daniel had his photo shoot for Salem Style magazine for being in the top 10 doctors or whatever. Hope and Teresa had a talk about Vargas. Rafe had some physical therapy with Jordan. It was more difficult than he anticipated. Kate and Will stopped by to see him, and all 3 are subpoenaed to testify against Sammy. Kate earlier attempted to make amends with EJ, but that did not work. EJ's accountant had successfully transferred funds to make Bernardi look like a dirty cop. We also had some hilarious JJ and Ann scenes earlier, and before the JJ and Ann scenes, JJ was at Club TBD with Will. Evidently, Will works there now, and he's serving coffee. So evidently, this is a coffee shop by morning, and then hot happen the nightclub by night. It doesn't look like your typical coffee shop, but whatever. But the major thing that happened on Friday was Melinda, Sammy, and Justin. Melinda Trask, the prosecutor, trying to put Sammy away, offered Sammy a deal. She said that if you take 10 years, if you plead guilty and take 10 years, and you give me information on EJ to use to put him away, in turn putting away Stefano, that was the deal. So it came with a lot of extra baggage, so to speak. And Justin is there the whole time that Melinda is giving Sammy this deal. And Sammy talks, of course, Sammy sounds like she doesn't want to do it, but then after Melinda leaves, she asks Justin, and Sammy actually begins to consider the deal as EJ arrives. So we're not sure if she's going to take the deal, but we'll find out this coming week, and I'm assuming that she won't. I mean, if I was her, I wouldn't take the deal, but that's just me. And Friday ended in kind of a cliffhanger moment. Daniel and Jennifer were at Daniel's place, and they kissed, and then they stopped, turned, looked at the door, which was open, and there stood JJ. And that was how Fridays ended. So this coming week's show should be very interesting, to say the least.
And I hope that Sammy does not throw EJ under the bus.
I don't
you better
think
not.
she... I don't
you better
know.
let her know his little plan so that she doesn't.
I don't know. So, anyways, that was a quick 20-minute review of the week that was. A little longer than we expected. So, we'll quickly get in, Misty will quickly get into the spoilers. Let me, I don't know how many spoilers we have, but I don't know how many, like I said, but just give at least 3 that you have for next week.
Okay. Let's see. Daniel and Jennifer have a heated argument over the way she's handling her son. Abigail demands to know why Cameron is pushing her into Chaz's arms. EJ fears he may have ruined Sammy's case. Uh-oh. And then one more. Sonny makes amends with Gabby, but a surprising discovery ruins their short-lived truce. Dun, dun, dun.
I think we should know what that is. Maybe she does it again, and then he actually catches her in the act, catches them in the act.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, quick side note: Nick and Gabby, I won't say love, because they're not in love. The scene that they had, it looked like they were sitting in front of a fireplace. Did you notice that? I mean, it was all dark in the apartment, but it looked like there's light shining on them, like they were in a fireplace, like in front of a fireplace. Well, this was one of Ariana's night lights. I don't know.
It probably was. It was one of those mobiles that go in the crib. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's so wrong. Okay, so excuse me. So that's all we have for last week, and a little preview for next week's shows. So like I said, we wanted to get into a little of the breaking news that happened over the weekend with Chandler and Days. And like I said earlier, also, if anyone is listening that went to the Chicago or Atlanta Days event and would like to share their experiences with us, please feel free to call us and share your experiences with us. The number is 347-215-8427. So please don't hesitate to call us. So if any of you don't already know, Chandler Massey tweeted, I believe it was on Friday. He said that he's done, and he wasn't. I'm not sure how I want to go about doing this. Well, we all, I guess, personally, myself, I had a feeling and was pretty sure that he was going to be leaving. I mean, I wasn't sure. I knew his contract was up in December, so I figured that is when he was going to leave. However, we found out that that wasn't the case, so to speak. I'll get into that in a minute. But first I want to read you what Chandler had to had to say on Twitter. He said, thank you, and thank you. It has been such an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful to have shared these 4 years with you all. As I move forward from today, I will never forget the laughs we shared, the tears we shed, and the love we spread. Time to get educated. And I quote, that's exactly what he said. So Friday was Chandler Massey's last day of taping as Will Horton on Days of Our Lives. Now, this kind of came as a shock to most people. Like I said, I was kind of expecting it, but this early I wasn't expecting it, and Chandler wasn't expecting it either that early. So I have a little piece from Soap Opera Digest that I want to read about the announcement. I believe that this is from a Dave spokesperson. As Chandler Massey announced back in June, he will be leaving the show to further pursue his education and other entertainment opportunities. While Days of Our Lives is disappointed to lose such a talent, the show understands and supports him in his future endeavors. Due to current storyline and the timely discovery of new talent that the show feels is the right recast for Will Horton, a mutual decision has been made for the changes to be taken place immediately. Chandler will always be a part of the Days family, and we wish him nothing but continued success. So, again, this was released on Friday evening. This wasn't I believe Soap Opera Digest didn't have the exclusive. I saw it on multiple sites before Soap Opera Digest. But, anyways, so, like we said, Chandler is done, which means that Chandler Massey's final scenes as Will Horton should be in late December, or maybe we're not exactly sure of the exact date, but he may run all the way through December. But the new actor should begin airing in January. I believe that Days is on a 2-week hiatus. The studios start for 2 weeks, which soaps do. Some do, I think, just 1 week, but I think since Days is 4 months in advance, they can take 2 weeks off for the actors to have a vacation, whatever. So I have so many thoughts here that I don't know where to begin. So many things I want to say here. Well, he did. I'm not sure. He did. Like I said, he was at the fan events over the weekend, and many people have tweeted about their interaction with Chandler. I almost said Will. Their interaction with Chandler at the fan event, and he has said that he was a little surprised that he was released this early. However, Days and Chandler's agent had a mutual agreement that when they found a recast for Will Horton, that recast would be brought in immediately. So Chandler knew that he would be gone when they found the recast. He wasn't expecting it to be this soon. That is the main point. The biggest shock of this whole news over the weekend is probably him being gone so early. I'd like to point this out and say this. I don't know how many times I need to say this to get it through people's heads. Chandler was not fired. I've seen this multiple times. Multiple times. Chandler was not fired. Believe me, Days would not fire an actor like Chandler Massey. They respect him too much, and they know that he means a lot to the show. They couldn't keep him because Chandler was dead set on pursuing his education and getting that degree. And no one can fault him for that. I mean, props to him for deciding to take time off from acting and pursue his education. I believe he's majoring in Mandarin Chinese, something that I wouldn't have the guts to do. So, I mean, I wouldn't have the guts to major in something like that, is what I'm saying. So, like I said, they had a mutual agreement, and he is he's already finished filming, so he should air, like I said, through December. I believe that he had taped the Christmas episode, so we should see him putting on his ornament on the tree. I believe I also read that the last things that he had on Days were with Ariana Grace, which I thought was nice. I mean, it would have been nice to have his last names with like Marlena or someone like that. I know a lot of people would have loved for his last names to be with Freddie, Sonny on the show, but things don't always work out like you want. So I guess what I want to say now is that I hope this doesn't make me sound, I don't know, I've been talking about it on Twitter and Facebook all weekend, so I might as well just say it now. I'm glad they recast Will.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler was great. I mean, he made Will his own, and he did something that, I mean, he's one of the greatest young actors that have ever been in daytime, in my opinion. But this is a business. This is a job. This is a business. And you can't expect people to... He found a 4-year contract, 4 years, I believe, 4-year contract. And his 4 years are up. And he's young. And he's at the top of his game. He's in his prime. And he probably has so many offers that we couldn't even think of how many offers he had. But, I mean, he's going to be going back to school. So, as Don said in the chat room, this is daytime. People come good. Exactly. I've watched, including Days, I've watched 7 soaps. And as you can imagine, I've been through recasts and things of that nature. It's not as bad as people make it seem. I mean, I know I'm rambling, and I'm sure Misty has thoughts, but I need to get all this out here first. What really burns me, and this is just my opinion, that people say that Will and Chandler and Freddie are Will and Sonny. Well, first off, people know that Chandler Massey was a recast for Will Horton, because I think some people forget that. There's been 2 or 3 actors prior to Chandler that have portrayed Will. So, yeah, I mean, recasts do work. I mean, like I said, I've been through 7 soaps, so I know that recasts do work. One recast that comes to mind, I don't know if anyone else can remember this, or if anyone else actually liked that recast, but this was me, on As the World Turns, when the character of Lily was recast Martha Byrne was recasted, I cannot think of the actress's name that replaced her. Noelle Beck was recast as Lily on As the World Turns and replaced Martha Byrne. I was a huge fan of that recast, and I thought it worked out well. And, I mean, the show got canceled soon thereafter, so I don't know. Maybe it didn't work out that well. But, I mean, I liked it. And, like I said, General Hospital, for example. How many times has Carly Jacks been recasted on General Hospital? And that show, I mean, it's doing just fine.
I mean, they've recast Bo before. Bo was also played by Robert Telker Kelly, not just Peter Eckel, and he did, I mean, it was fine. Exactly. They've had Roman Brady's been recast a dozen times. I mean, he's been played by Josh Taylor, Wayne Northrup. So
Austin, not Austin, but the character of Austin has been a couple of times, yeah. So, I mean, that just goes to show you that recasts do work. I mean, recasts, they're not the end. I mean, another thing that upsets me is people say that they're going to give up the show because Chandler is gone. And I'm hearing this a lot from the Wilson fan base. And I just have to do that. I have to sigh. I'm like, well, obviously then, if you're going to give up the show because Chandler's gone, then you obviously weren't a fan of the show. You were a fan of Chandler, or you were a fan of the pairing, and you're not a soap fan. You were just a actor fan or a Wilson fan. Which, I mean, fine. That's fine, I guess. I mean, it just bugs me to no end because I am a huge soap fan and supporter of all the soaps. I mean, 99% of the soaps. I won't get into what that means. Anyways, it just burns me that people are going to have – they put so much time also. I mean, they put so much time into this pairing and everything like that. And they're just going to give up on it because it's the actor that played one of the pairing, one half of it has left. I mean, hello? Did you not see something wrong with that picture? The pairing is still – the Wilson storyline is still going to be continuing. Shouldn't the Wilson fan base be excited about that? I mean, they were so excited about having a gay storyline in daytime, and it's continuing. It's still going to be going on, and the only gay storyline in daytime, I mean, aside from Danny and Karen on Bold and the Beautiful, but that storyline's been non-existent because they're hardly ever on the show. But I'm trying to control myself here, but it's not easy because I just get so livid when I just see people say things like, I'm done with the show, I'm done with it, because, I mean, well, if you're a fan of Wilson, shouldn't you be, you're a fan, that means you're probably a fan of Chandler and Freddie. So shouldn't you continue to watch and support Freddie? I mean, are you going to, all because Chandler leaves, does that mean you're done with Freddie? I mean, you don't want to support him anymore? And another thing that burns me, here I go again, people say that Freddie should leave because they say that Chandler and Freddie are Wilson. Bull crap. I got to put that out there. No. Freddie Smith should be affected by Chandler Massey's decision to exit the show. That's just common sense to me. No. I mean, I know that Freddie Smith is spent a lot of time with Chandler, and I'm sure he's going to be very sad to see him go. And I believe Freddie Smith tweeted today his gratitude to Chandler and how he's going to miss him. Some say, I mean, we don't know, but some say that, it's not going to be the same. Well, we don't know. What people are doing now is they're judging before they even see the recast. I mean, we're not going to see the recast until January. And people are already putting them off. We don't know who it's going to be. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I have my opinions and I have my thoughts, and I'm hoping that they does what I'm hoping with the recast. But
the recast does
know,
have big shoes to fill.
That's true. I mean, it's going to be hard to.
I'm sure he's going to be wonderful. I mean, it'll take some getting used to, but it happens.
Mm-hmm. And by the way that the Dave spokesperson has talked, they are very proud and very excited about the recast. I mean, if they didn't think that this recast was right, they wouldn't have let Chandler go at this time. They would have let him write out his contract in the air, then leave in December. But obviously, Days of Our Lives is very confident in the recast they have found, and they feel like they said, they feel like it is the right time to bring the recast in. So, I mean, I trust Days. I mean, their casting department is pretty phenomenal, if you ask me. I mean, they cast the most awesome kids. I mean, look at the kids. They casted Chandler. I mean, one of the best actors ever. I mean, their cast is just phenomenal, and I believe I'm getting tongue twisted here. They know what they're doing, and I believe that the recast is going to work out just fine if you give it time. Give it time, and don't judge within the first week. I mean, you can't. You'll have to give, I'd say, at least a month for the actor. That's just me. I mean, I don't know. Some people will probably make their judgments after one airing, which I will not be surprised with. But anyways, it's not over. Wilson's not over. Days isn't over. And the world isn't ending because Chandler has left Days. Chandler is going to go on to do better things, bigger and better things. Not to say that Days wasn't good. I'm just saying that he's going to go on the soap world and do something very awesome. I mean, I'm sure of it. So I wish him nothing but the best, and I know he's going to succeed in whatever he does. And maybe he'll come back at some point. But I heard he was talking over at the weekend at Fan Event saying that he would not back to soaps. But, I mean, never say never, right? So, anyways, I believe we have a caller on the line. So, this is exciting. We hardly ever have callers. So, I believe our caller is Susan. So, Susan, are you there?
Hello, Brandon. It's Susan Carden. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How
are you, Misty? Listen, I'm out, but I took the number with me. I just wanted to say I totally agree with everything you just said. I was listening, and I think people are going to be a little, they're not going to accept the new will at first. But I think that once they get, because he has been recast a few times.
Yep.
So, and so having about a bunch of people in that show, not just, not just Will. And it's always been fine. So they may be a little apprehensive, and I know there's a lot of rumors going around right now about it, but I think it's going to be fine. And I think you're right.
I mean,
and I'm glad they're recasting him and not taking him off the show. So
right.
That's my thought. I agree. I was a little surprised that they were doing it really this quick, but they must have found the right fit. That's how I'm thinking.
Exactly.
So that's
what?
Right. Don't you agree? They must have found the right person.
They have, obviously. I mean, they seem very confident in their release, their press release that they released on Friday. They seem confident in person, whoever it may be. I have a few thoughts on who that might be. First off, I want to say that I thought maybe the actor that played Brent, Tyler Sellers, would be a good Will recast. But I don't. What are your thoughts about that? How
about
do you
Brent?
think that work?
Seeing the recast?
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. I thought of it too, because I haven't seen him on the show this week too much.
Yeah.
So I did think that maybe Brent's I thought that myself, because he would be perfect. I mean, he's got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and all. So, but I know, I thought that's really funny that you say that, because I thought the same exact thing. But I guess we'll all have to find out.
I don't think that the Wilson fan base would accept that, though, because
yeah,
Brent
I know.
is
They're very. I hear you. They're so set in their ways. They really are.
That's one way to put it. Set in their ways.
They'll have nothing to say about it.
No,
so
that's
agree?
True.
So
there.
I think whatever happens, and I think it's all just going to be fine. I'm just glad they're keeping him on the show. That's my big thing.
I think it would have been a big tragedy to just lose the character, in my opinion. I mean, because Will is such a crucial part to Salem days. I mean, I'm just thankful that he's recast.
Yeah,
we'll find out sooner who the recast will be, but
you're breaking up a little, but I do think that it would have been a big thing if he left. So I'm glad they're recasting him. And he's not the first Will. Chandler Massey is not the first Will. You know that.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think it's all going to work out.
I think it will too. Just have to have patience.
That's right.
And let it all play out.
You know, what if Chandler, and God forbid, something happened to him in real life? People, you know, and he is only, 23? So he wants to move on.
Yeah. Let him do what he wants to do. And let
him do what he wants to do. But the rumors have been horrible on Twitter and...
Oh, my God, I cannot even...
I can't even believe what some people are saying. It's terrible.
No. The fact that people think he was fired is what really burns me.
Yeah, that was... I saw that. That was a Charlie Sheen thing, I think.
Oh, I forgot to even mention that. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
I think Charlie Sheen mentioned something about it. It was part of one of his Twitter tweets.
He said they fired him.
Yeah.
And then he deleted the tweet. I went to look for the tweet again. It's gone. So he deleted it. So obviously he knows that he was wrong. Yeah. I mean, who would believe Charlie Sheen in the first place? Anything that he said.
Yeah. And we all know that. So it was kind of a silly rant of Charlie's, but not surprised. Anyway, I agree with you 100%, and I'm glad you're talking about this because it's hopeful. I hope you have a lot more. Oh, no problem. I'm out, and I didn't know I could listen to your show on my phone, so I'm just going to keep listening.
Yeah, that works. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to add about anything?
I'm gonna miss Kristen. I'm gonna miss.
Oh my gosh!
It's gonna be a tough one.
That's gonna be a horrible day.
I'm gonna miss Kristen.
I hope they don't recast Kristen.
I can't wait to see what happens, but I am gonna miss her. She's very good. But I also love Teresa. I think she's wonderful. She's bringing a lot of spark to the show. Really
I wish people would give her some time. People are already writing her off before.
Oh, I know. Her and JJ.
I know.
There's some nice talent there.
Spunk. Yeah.
I like them.
They could win an Emmy. I mean, I can see it.
Yes. I could see JJ getting both of them next year. Young talent.
Yeah. Casey Moss is, I mean, I may not like JJ, but, I mean, he brings it. He brings the drama, so to speak.
Yeah, no, they're both very good and very good-looking people, so they have chances. We'll see what happens within the next year.
Yep. I can't wait for the next year.
It's going to be a fun year. I'm on the edge of my seat as it is, though, with the show. It's great. And I've been watching it I've been watching it for a very long time, so I've seen a lot. But anyway, I'm glad I called, and I'm glad I can still hear it after I hang up.
Yes.
Thanks so much for calling, and don't be afraid to call in every Sunday. They're on. I know. There's a lot of times I just want to call, and I don't. I brought the number with me. I'm out, and I said, I'm just going to call, and then they put me in a queue, and then I had something happened. It hung up on me, so I called back, and then she put me, then I got through. But it's cool. Well, I'm glad to share your thoughts.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for doing
Susan.
this show. It's wonderful. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night.
You too. Bye-bye.
They were saying in the chat room, if Teresa would have shown up as a Mary Poppins character, would we want to watch her?
Touche.
I was like, definitely not, because bad girls are way more fun to watch, just like the bad boys.
So, thank you, Susan, for calling. She was so sweet.
Yes.
It was so nice of her to call in. So, let me look through the chat room here. I wasn't reading it the whole time I was talking here, so Jenny Faye in the I want to say Twitter, I don't know why. In the chat room said that according to Tyler Sellers, who plays Brent, he's busy with other projects at the same. He was busy with other projects at the same time that he was working on days. He didn't have time for a lot of taping, and that's why he had trouble committing to the day schedule. So, it makes it seem that probably won't work out. Tyler Sellers being a will very fast. She's hilarious. She's really funny. She says, Brandon, you need to give Mark Bernardi 1 month. LOL. How many months have we given her? I think we've given her at least 2 or 3. She's been on there a while. It seems like she's been on there longer than necessary. Sorry, look at the chat room here. Becca, the language. When I get fired up, I get fired up. What can I say? How do I feel like I need to... I have so many thoughts racing around my mind, and I don't know how to express them all. What? Let me get to Misty, because Misty hasn't said much.
I've been letting you just let your frustrations out. No.
I have many frustrations, so this could take all night. I don't want it to. So
I agree.
Wait, now let me ask you a question. I'm trying to think of a question here I can ask you, and I want you to give a nice, long, real thought answer. So
okay.
So let me think. If Days decided to not recast Will, decided to just let the character. Let me say that they decided to kill him off. What do you think? How would first? This is like a two-parter question. First of all, how would you feel about that? Second of all, let me finish. Second of all, how do you think that would affect Days? In terms of ratings, do you think that would be a move for Days? So, how would you feel, and then how do you think Days fans would react, and do you think it would be a bad move for Days? So, now you can go ahead and give your opinion.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be mean, just so you know.
Well, I would be very upset if they killed that character off. I've said before on one of our other shows that we had about the different fan bases that Will is a huge part of Days of Our Lives because he's in so many different people's lives, Sammy's, Marlena's, now Sunny, and now Gabby, and he's just a big part of the show. So I would be very upset if they were to kill Will off. As a Days fan, I think I'm still going to watch because I am that a Days fan, regardless of the characters. But I do think that some people, may stop watching because he is a huge part of the show. But if they do stop watching, then in my opinion, they weren't a Days fan. So I think it might hurt ratings for a little bit. They may be angry, but hopefully they would come back to the show. Also think that it would be worse than recasting, in my opinion. I think that the recast was a huge decision and a great decision. I'm very excited that they're recasting that role because I want to see where things go with this storyline. I want to see what happens with Will and Sunny, you know, down the line for the future. Because right now they're pretty much like the most stable couple in Salem, and I really do love that pair. Whether it's Chandler or not, I love that pair. So I would be very devastated if they killed them off, but I would still watch. So that's my thoughts.
And that's what I like to hear. Spoken like a true soap veteran watcher. I guess is the best way to put it.
And characters get killed. They do. And huge characters get killed. But then in some cases, like Stefano, you know, it gets twisted where, he wasn't really dead, so it's okay. But, like, if they were to, like, legitimately kill, like Jack Devereaux, I was very upset that they killed that character off. I loved him as Matthew Ashford is hilarious. And as Jack, I adored him. But, you know, they kill characters off. That's, you know, if they're not going to recast or they don't want that character, that's what they do. So I'm just glad, though, that in this situation that they decided to go with a recast and not kill off that character.
Well said.
Thank you.
So I guess I think we're going to try to end this here by 8 o'clock. Got a few minutes here. Let me think about what else I want to say about this, because I kind of just want to keep this to Chandler and Wilson storylines. I don't want to get too much into anything else going on with Dave. Didn't really plan to go any farther with this, you know, outside of Chandler and Wilson. I guess to sum everything up, recasts happen. Recasts happen often, very often. It's common in the soap world. As we discussed earlier, recasts do not mean the end of the show, mean the end of your life or the end of, you know, end of the world. Recasts, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to be honest here. Some actors do not want to work forever on soaps. This may sound harsh, but soaps are not the desirable industry that most actors want to work in. And that kind of hurts saying point. That. Exactly. It's a starting point. And the work schedules for soap actors, you do not know how hard and how they take. Sometimes they work from like 6 in the morning. They may work 12-hour days. And the schedules can take a toll on you. I mean, especially if you're, you know, you're new, you're a young actor. That's something that you're not used to. It can take a toll on you. And like I said, I mean, the soap. I don't want to say this, but soap industry is for.
Sorry, looks like Jenny says you can call in with a few thoughts about the Chicago event.
Oh, okay, yeah. Please call in if you would like. If you want to call in, please. I'm going to wrap this up real quick here. So, like I said, recasts happen all the time. And as I was going to say, the soap industry is not the most stable industry in the acting business. It's more stable than what it was, you know, a few years ago, but it's still not the you know, the most desirable industry to work in. So Chandler made a decision for himself to move on from Days of Our Lives to pursue other things. He wants, like I said, he wants to get his education. He wants to get that degree, and no one can fault him for that, and I commend him for that. I mean, that's something that is going to be very helpful to him in the future when he's looking for other things when he has a college degree. And because I'm working on my degree as well. I'm going to be starting my senior year at Ohio University this fall. So I'm hoping that once I graduate, I'll be able to get a stable and a bigger and better job than people that do not have a college degree. I mean, that's not guaranteed, but, I mean, I'm hoping that will be the case. Chandler, I'm grateful that we had the 4 years that we had with him. I think that's something that we should take away, is that we should be thankful that we had the time that we had with him. He didn't have to come. He didn't have to audition, but he did, and they hired him. And we should all feel lucky to be able to see such an amazing talent on our screens every day. It's not. I know. It's not going to be easy to let him go, but I mean, Chandler will be around. We'll probably see him on TV, maybe in a movie. I wouldn't be surprised, but I heard that he would like to do Broadway, and that's awesome for him as well.
He was in 16 Love. That's a movie.
I remember that with I didn't watch it, but I did see.
I did watch it.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I did.
I feel like I need to watch
it's
it.
Very
being a fan.
Teeny type movie, yeah. It's for the teens, but I love those teen movies and shows. I can't help it. They draw me in. I don't know why, but it's cute. I think Jenny is on the line.
Yep, she is. Okay, so anyways, congrats to Chandler for making this move, and we wish him nothing but the best.
Yay.
I think that's the best way to wrap that up, right? Sounds good?
Yes.
Okay. So, anyways, on the phone, we have Jenny, who was at the Chicago Days fan event with Blake, Jen, Chandler, and Casey this weekend, and I hope that she can give us a little bit of insight as to how that was. So, Jenny, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that I'm so jealous.
Oh, it was a great time. I have to say, I think I prefaced this on Twitter that I tried to enjoy it as much as I could, but I had a child with me who was an extreme fangirl, so it was me kind of like pushing her towards people going, go say hi to Chandler, because she really was very starstruck when he got there. So it was kind of tough, but we managed to do it. So it was a great time for her and for me. So got to meet some fun people, and it was a blast. So any questions that I could answer? I mean, I could go on talking forever, but any specific questions about people or things?
How's well, I'd like to know about I don't know if you got any information on this, but Chandler and Casey's band. How, like, are they going to do like any tours or anything like that?
They did talk briefly about that in the Q&A session. They were talking about whether they were looking at signing onto a tour, which is, I guess, something that you can do to pay to do to sign onto a tour, or if they were going to try to do something else. But I do believe that's something they want to do. I'm still confused as to how Chandler's going to get all this stuff done if he's going to school. That was like my biggest question in the back of my head was, how are you going to go to school and work with the band and audition for, things, different roles or Broadway or whatever, but, he's talented, so he can probably do it all, but it's probably, that was probably why it's a good time for him to take one of the big pieces out of the puzzle, because it probably just was getting to be too much if he's got all these dreams and goals. Right. So, yeah, but they didn't talk about any specific dates or any touring, but I know they would like to. That is something that they're looking at. They just finished the video for their the fundraiser. They did like a Kickstarter for the 65 Roses or Cystic Fibrosis charity. I'm sure you're familiar with that. They talked about working on that, and that's underway. So, but that's all I know about the band. They didn't talk a lot more about it. I have to say, then, if I'm just going to start spouting things, Blake Barris is the best. Really just so nice. As I mentioned, my little starstruck teenager, he was able to engage her and ask her questions and get her to talk like a normal person and not like a little fangirl. So I could not thank him enough that he asked, some nice questions that were just calming for her and got her to really relax in the whole scheme of things. And so did Jen Lilly, of course. I mean, and it was a little bit easier for her to relax around Jen Lilly because it was a girl, another girl. But she also was so gracious and so kind to everybody. And, of course, so funny. I don't know if you saw our fun picture that we took together where you made nice faces. She was doing that a lot with people. So we have a lot of, she made some great memories. I would just have to say she and Blake were very, very good and very, very helpful. And so everybody was. But I think it was harder at the Chandler and Casey table for us because the starstruck issue was at its peak when we were over there. So it was a little bit harder for me to try to engage them at all because she was busy hanging on my arm, hiding behind me. So we got a few people to help out and get her over there and get her photo taken and talk a little bit. But she really, I don't know that she said 2 words to Chandler. I really don't. So, and
that'll probably be me, honestly.
Yeah, it was a very fun time and a lot of nice people. Everybody in attendance and everybody organizing it was extremely nice and very respectful. Sometimes you don't know what to expect at fan events, and this one I thought that they did a great job because all of the stars gave everybody, I feel like, the proper amount of time investment, and as well the fans were very respectful of each other. Sometimes that was a concern for me going into it, hoping that, okay, I'm taking this child a few hours from our house, and it's a big dream of hers. She's spending most of her birthday money. Are we going to get, a good time? And we really did. So I have to thank everybody who was there, too, because everybody was very nice. So that's about my 2 cents worth on that.
Wow,
any
that
other
sounds
questions?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
I could ask so many things about Jen Lilly, but I won't because, I think I could probably tweet her and ask her because she's pretty good at getting back to you on Twitter.
That's great.
She really is that sweet in person as she is on Twitter, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I really hope that you can get a chance, speaking of that she could give you a direct message and talk to you, Brandon. But I don't know. I have a question, though. Does anybody know, are you guys going to talk about in a future episode the other tour that the Days groups are doing for is it the book? Do you know anything at all about that? Oh,
there is a book signing tour on the East Coast, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. And I read that Chandler had opted to not do that. He was originally scheduled to be a part of that tour, but now he has not. So, I'm not sure when that is. I think it's soon. But, if we find out about that, if I find out when, hopefully we can talk about that on one of our future shows.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'd like to find out about that. Maybe it'd be close to me. I don't know. You'll have to do some research.
I tried to search it, and I wasn't getting answers. I figured Dan would have all of the answers of everything related to Days, but maybe next time.
So you would say, after your experience at this fan event, that you would like to go to another fan event?
Don't say that. Didn't I say no? I would never ever do that. I can't be that person. No. But truthfully, I think I could come up with a great excuse if there were a lot of different stars there, some different actors. Then I feel like I could come up with a good enough excuse. Like, say, for instance, Freddie Smith was somewhere. That would be enough excuse for me to travel somewhere else. So that's all I'm saying.
I understand. I completely understand.
That's all I have to say. So
do you have questions, Misty?
No, I was wondering about how Blake was in person, so she answered that before I could ask, because he seems down to earth, and he's also one that'll answer his Twitter followers and seems just like a really nice guy. And it was his birthday, so I bet he had a great time with fans for his birthday. So I bet he
really
did.
And I have to say, hands down, everybody that I talked to at the event and everybody follow up on Twitter today that was there, and all of us kind of all started following each other if we weren't, and some of us already were, but hands down, I would say, besides generally being the greatest, everybody was just the most impressed with Play Sheriff. And I mean, good things are going to come for that guy because he has got it all together. He really does. He knows what's going on, and he knows exactly what he needs to be doing. And it just really, I'm convinced that that's going to happen.
Sounds like you had the most amazing time of the weekend. I'm glad to meet these people. I mean, it was probably like a surreal experience.
It was. I mean, for me, it really was. I've done some meet and greets with my daughter in the past, and they were all American Idol related. And of course, when she was younger, had that same starstruck. I kind of started to get the thing where you need to get over it. Otherwise,
yeah.
I learned if you don't get over it and you only have an hour, you're going to be sad the next day that you didn't think of something, you didn't say something, you didn't remember something. There are already some things today that I, had been thinking about for a couple of weeks. Like, don't forget to mention this to Blake, or don't forget to ask, mention to Casey and Chandler that my daughter knows the chill video dance by heart. They should really make her do it. Something like that. I totally forgot about that. So it's, you forget things when you're right there, but it's you have to learn to get over it, or you won't get to say any of the things you wanted to. So that's what I've told myself.
But definitely go if you ever have the opportunity.
After the last fan event that I was supposed to didn't work out, I was in my bed. Next fan event was close to everything I could. What's to ask? You really want to be kind of have a laugh. So, thank you so much for calling in and sharing your experience with us. And
thanks
again,
so much.
Don't be afraid to call in.
No problem.
Talk about dates.
No problem. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye. Bye, Misty. Bye, Brandon.
Bye.
Oh my, that was just sounded so. We need to go to a fan event together, and we could do a show on the road at a fan event.
I would love to see them.
Oh, I know. I'm still upset about the fan event that got canceled. I was supposed to go to One Life to Live fan event a few years ago. Last year, back when One Life to Live was canceled, and the fan event got canceled because something happened with the studio that they were supposed to do it in. We had the tickets and everything, so I am kind of a little wary of going to a fan event, thinking that I'm like a jinx or something, and something will go wrong. But yeah, it would just be amazing to go to a fan event.
It would.
Of course, it would have to be pretty close. So if there's a fan event in Tennessee, you can fly me down to Tennessee, and then if there's one in Ohio, I can fly you up to Ohio. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I think that covers everything that we wanted to discuss on tonight's show. Yep. Just hoping, trying to look through other articles on Chandler, but the best article I had was Soap Opera Digest, and Soap Opera Digest is the best source for soap news and the only source that I really trust. So that is the reason I only use the Soap Opera Digest article.
Mm-hmm.
So let me look at the date here. I just wanted to remind you all that September 2nd, next week, September 2nd, Monday, Days Will Not Air. It's a holiday. It's Labor Day. So just be aware of that. We'll be on the 1st of September, so I can remind you then. I wasn't sure about that. So, with all that being said, we can close the show tonight. First off, by mentioning finding us on social media. If you're on Facebook, just type in Common Ground Radio in the search bar. you can find us there. Our logo is an hourglass, so it shouldn't be too hard to find us. On Twitter, you can find us at CG Online Radio. So make sure you follow us there, and then you can follow us personally, me, Brandon, at Dave's Addict, and Misty, you can follow her at Misty_M. And be sure you check out airnationradio.com, because that is where you will find a link to all of our past shows. You'll find a link to our Twitter account, and you will find a link to our Facebook page. And also, just recently updated this weekend on airnationradio.com, there is a bio of myself and of Misty. So if you would like to learn more about us, check out airnationradio.com. Look for the Common Ground Radio section on airnationradio.com and learn more about it. So that is all that I have for tonight. So I say so a lot, don't I? I need to really fix that. Anyways, thank you, everyone who joined us this evening, and thank you to Susan and to Jenny for calling us and sharing their experiences. Or thank you, Susan, for calling us with your thoughts, and thank you, Jenny, for calling us and sharing your experiences at the fan event. I'm so tongue-twisted tonight. I need some ice cream. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back next week, same time, same place, 7 Eastern Standard Time. So we hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we hope you have a fantastic week. For Common Ground Radio, I am Brandon.
I'm Misty.
Have a great week, everyone.
Good night.
You've been listening to Common Ground Radio with hosts Brandon and Misty on the Air Nation Radio Network. Thank you for joining us.